righteousness in the pursuit of justice, freedom, and equality. Otherwise, you should sit down and get out of the way. For those of us who know God will lead this struggle. And we are the overcomers. Believe it or let it alone. What has Gaddafi done? Did you know that in March of this year, the UN was getting ready to give Gaddafi and the Libyan Jamahiriya a humanitarian award? A UN report said, listen to this, that the Gaddafi regime protected, quote, not only political rights, but also economic, social, and cultural rights. And they praised it for the nation's treatment of religious minorities and the human rights training received by security forces. It was approved and to be voted on later in the month of March. But the attack started in February. And what was the propaganda? That Gaddafi threatened to kill his own people. Let's stop for a minute. Now, you know, you should always be suspicious when America, England, France, Italy, Germany, Europe are concerned for the lives of black people. You really should stop a moment and look at the humanitarian suffering inside America and say, if the suffering in America hasn't touched the hearts of Congress and the U.S. government to make laws to protect the weak and the poor, black, brown, and white of this nation, how in the world could you believe that they are so concerned about the humanitarian needs of the Libyan people? Now look, when they didn't kill him at first, they put very harsh sanctions on Libya. You know, they sanctioned the nation. We were protecting project houses where our women and men and children could not play in the projects because of the drug traffic going on. When the Muslims came, even the drug dealers respected our presence. And after a while, the children could play in the streets and the mothers felt secure because we were protecting the inner city project dwellers. But your Congressman Peter King went to the Congress because those brothers were being supported under the housing and urban development of the U.S. government. They pulled back all funding because they thought Farrakhan was getting the money. Farrakhan never got anything. I'm not looking for nothing but the justice, the freedom, the peace, and the security of our people. I'm here today. I did not ask for a nickel. I did not ask for a dime. I paid my way here, tens of thousands of dollars, and brought those who love me here at our expense to support the December 12th movement and this drive to liberate Africa. It's not about money. It's about the liberation of our people. Money will come, but you must never allow yourself to be a whore and fight for money rather than fighting on righteous principles. During 10 years of sanctions, Muammar Gaddafi continued to build. He had a man-made river project, $33 billion of Libyan oil money, bringing water from the Sahara Desert up to the surface so that the people of Benghazi that are fighting him now, and Tobruk all the way to near the border of Tunisia could have water. And you could see green now in the desert that was brown and sandy, because Gaddafi wanted his people to be agriculturally free from the domination of Europe and their food products. So now, he also built houses during that 10-year period for all his people. Nobody in Libya is homeless. Let me say it again. Nobody in Libya is homeless. Nobody in Libya is living under bridges. Nobody in Libya has to fight for health insurance. Every Libyan has free medical attention in the hospitals and clinics of Libya that has the finest healthcare facilities in the third world. Now, is this a man that just for himself? I don't mean to discredit my beloved brothers, sisters in Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states, because I have been in their palaces. And in one palace I was in, the thoroughfare inside the palace was so wide, you could ride 16-wheelers, or what do they call it? Tractor trailers going in opposite directions just in the corridor of the palace. I've seen palaces that they're so magnificent. Some of them cost over $1 billion. Go to Libya and see if you can find Gaddafi living in palaces from the wealth of the people. Gaddafi loves tents. He lives in tents. And when he came to New York a few years ago to the UN General Assembly, he wanted to set up a tent. I think it was in Mount Morris. They didn't want him to be there. He rented a place out in Long Island under Mr. Trump. Trump took his money and never allowed him to pitch a tent. He owned property in New Jersey. He wanted to set up a tent there, but they wouldn't let him set up a tent. Here's a man that's very simple. That's true. I have met him in his tent several times, and I have visited with him in CERT in the new convention center that he set up, but never have I visited him in a palace. This is the kind